like, is this even America?
The only way that earth can ever find reconciliation with heaven is by way of the cross. The only way that you can ever get to heaven is by way of the cross.
I understand how to get things done for the American people.
Put on the whole armor of God that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil.
Satanists in the United States are pushing to overturn pro-life laws there.
And every man since Adam and Eve has broken God's law. The most relevant message in the world tonight is the fact that Christ died for you.
That there are gay kids.
Libraries invite drag queens. Some dress like torn demons to read to young children.
God and man are separated.
You will use them. You will not.
And God and man are separated.
For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places.
This short present darkness.
Hi, I'm Steve Winnery. I'm the pastor at Calvary Chapel, Tri-Cities in Kennewick, Washington. And I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the hope of Jesus' coming. There's a passage in Titus chapter 2, starting in verse 11, that says this: "For the grace of God that brings salvation has appeared to all men, teaching us that denying ungodliness and worldly lusts, we should live soberly, righteously, and godly in the present age, looking for the blessed hope and glorious appearing of our great God and Savior, Jesus Christ." One of the things that I believe is that I'm living in the last days, and I think that that's pretty obvious to a lot of people, Christians and even non-Christians. I run into non-Christians all the time who realize that something's going on with the world. This is different than anything that they've ever experienced. And when I talk to them about the last days, they go, absolutely, I think that, that kind of stuff is going on. These are things that Jesus prepared us for. And so you can go through Matthew chapter 24, for example. I'm going to go through Luke 21. And one of the things that Jesus talked about was signs that would be leading up to his second coming. And it goes like this, verse 8, "Take heed that you be not deceived, for many will come in my name, saying, I am he, and the time is drawn near. Therefore do not go after them. But when you hear of wars and commotions, do not be terrified, for these things must come to pass first, but the end will not come immediately. Then he said to them, Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there will be great earthquakes in various places, and famines and pestilences, and there will be fearful sights and great signs from heaven. But before all these things, they will lay their hands on you and persecute you." And that's talking about the Jewish nation. And he's going to go in there and talk about what was going to happen with Jerusalem. He goes on and gets back to the last days in verse 25, and he says, "And there will be signs in the sun, in the moon, in the stars, on the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them from fear and the expectation of those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of the heavens will be shaken. Then they will see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory." Now when these things begin to happen, not after they're done, but when they begin to happen, look up and lift up your heads, because your redemption draws near. He goes on in verse 34 and says, "But take heed to yourselves, lest your hearts be weighed down with carousing, drunkenness, and cares of this life, and that day come on you unexpectedly. For it will come as a snare on all those who dwell on the face of the whole earth. Watch therefore and pray always, that you may be counted worthy to escape all these things that will come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man." And what that's talking about is the great escape. What that's talking about is what the Bible refers to as the coming of Christ for his church, specifically, the catching away of believers. When you go through the New Testament, Jesus, when he's talking to the church, he never talks to them and says, you need to be looking for these signs. He never says that. What he says is, you need to be looking for me. And so a lot of people are interested in who the Antichrist is going to be. He's going to be the last world ruler before Christ comes back, that kind of stuff. We're not called to look for the Antichrist. We're called to look for Jesus Christ. And so there is a promise of escaping all these things and standing before the Son of Man. And that's our blessed hope. And so when I go through my life, I am aware of all the things that are going on around me, but I'm hopeful, and I don't mean hoping so. I mean, I'm resting my hope in the fact that Jesus is coming back for me. And if you're a Christian, he's coming back for you too. Look up. Your redemption draws near. God bless you.